Welcome back to our channel where we provide updates and undisclosed narratives on Catherine, Princess of Wales and her royal family. We provide you with the exciting news Windsor in turmoil, William's Duchy power play, and Camilla's response revealed. A source said that Prince William made a significant advance towards Camilla's child. This incited turmoil inside the royal family, highlighted by Camilla's appalled response to Prince William's confrontation. This video will disclose the events that occurred behind the Windsor door between Camilla and Prince William. The British monarchy, after centuries of tradition and public perception management, is confronting an unprecedented crisis in a generation. Tom Parker Bowles, the son of Queen Camilla, disparaged Prince William, causing a discreet palace conflict. Following a perceived error at an exclusive book launch, the Prince of Wales and his influential aunt, the Princess Royal, have methodically undermined the Queen's authority. Prince William reacted with detachment and deliberation to the attack, which astonished the aristocracy and transformed the kingdom. He has overturned the royal script, excluding Camilla's supporters and insinuating that the Queen may confront an unparalleled push to the periphery, as reported by insiders. An evening of hubris precipitated a royal upheaval, exposing the tenuous loyalties, aspirations, and lineage that support the House of Windsor. The ignition of the powder keg. On the night it started, September 28, 2024. London was enveloped in autumnal fog, which subdued the city and rendered Mayfair's historic brickwork almost breathless. Beyond the fog, Claridge's Hotel, a bastion of opulence and illustrious history, gleamed like a jewel. Amidst the warm illumination of Art Deco chandeliers and the refined clinking of silverware on porcelain, the city's intellectual elite celebrate literature heritage and a more perilous pursuit ambition. The gathering was to commemorate Tom Parker Bowles's recent cookbook, A Noble Palate, a lavish tribute to aristocratic cuisine. Parker Bowles, who had established a successful career via his mother's royal affiliation, and his prowess as a culinary writer and critic was at the zenith of his career. He authored best-selling cookbooks, served as a distinguished restaurant reviewer for the Mail on Sunday, and adjudicated primetime culinary competitions. Nevertheless, several individuals acquainted with royal authority saw this as more than just a book launch. Tom intended to provide something more impressive than champagne after this orchestrated performance. A formidable individual observed the resplendent crowd. Princess Anne, the Princess Royal, donned a deep green silk gown and stood resolutely embodying the institution she represented. The canapes and toasts were not her motivation for attending. She arrived due to her perception of a sinister motive underneath the cordiality, a want for dominance rather than culinary pursuits. Strategically astute Queen Camilla extended an invitation to Anne. With her gloved hands clasped and a serene smile, she stood nearby like royalty. Her presence with her child suggested, "My son is entitled to be here." This cosmos encompasses him. Anne immediately identified it as a cultured warning shot rather than a benign familial gesture. As Tom, attired elegantly in a navy suit, ascended the podium, the ballroom became quiet. His polished, refined voice, imbued with the confidence of one aware of his position, resonated over the room. He started with delightful tales of his gastronomic escapades and reminiscences of British cuisine. He paused, drank water, then struck at the monarchy's core with the accuracy of an experienced performer. "It is a pleasure to commemorate with family and friends," he said, examining the chamber before gazing at the royal entourage for a while. "Family dynamics may be challenging, as we understand." Audiences chuckled apprehensively. "My mother," he said, encompassing the room, "has devoted her life to service. Her dedication to my stepfather, the king, and the crown is absolute." He stopped to contemplate his subsequent remark that not all members of her new family share that perspective. The atmosphere settled. "Prince William," he said, "has not shown kindness to my mother. He makes her feel like a foreigner in her own domicile. He shows her disdain as both a wife and a queen. This chill is shocking and unwarranted." The room inhaled in unison. Champagne flutes become immobilized during consumption. Press photographers first exhibited courteous behavior before adopting a predatory approach. Royal attendants at the periphery were anxious and pallid. The most profound silence emanated from Princess Anne. One buccal muscle contracted as her jaw clenched. Her astute, penetrating gaze scrutinized Tom like dual blades. She remained still. She maintained composure. She was not required to. The unwavering gaze of the late Queen's only daughter said more than any official declaration, "You have transgressed a limit." A frightened attendant said, "Your Royal Highness, how shall we interpret this?" Anne responded softly but icily, creating a palpable stillness in the atmosphere. The imprudent offspring of a perilous matriarch. The evening's velvet facade was torn away, revealing the stark, unrefined visage of a tumultuous monarchy. The battle lines were formally declared. The Architect of Ambition. By November 2024, Tom Parker Bowles had ceased to be the appealing culinary critic known for his mellifluous voice and refined palate. He gradually but deliberately emerged as a political figure after his shocking speech navigating the periphery of the throne with an aura of entitlement that intimidated the established elite. While his prior remarks unsettled cooks, his current presence invigorates apartments adorned with magnificent artwork and ancient enigmas. Tom was renowned for his best-selling books and cultural impact in Britain. Nevertheless, the monarchy acknowledges that fame serves just as an instrument. The true treasure is power. Queen Camilla, the discreet architect, laid the foundation for this ascent years before. The individual consulting the royal chef on coronation cuisine was hardly acknowledged at the coronation of King Charles III in May 2023. Tom indelibly influenced the menu, symbolic, elegant, and very strategic. He had exceptional access to the palace kitchens and the secrets of the royal family due to his assignment. He conversed with senior officials, engaged in joviality with nobility, and confided ambitions to influential courtiers over aged wine. Attentive listeners recognized the subtleties. In addition to providing sustenance, he experienced influence. In the following months, Tom attended Cotswold garden parties, clandestine dinners in Windsor, and sustainability retreats at Highgrove. He exhibited courtesy, expertise, and charisma in every setting. Each handshake was a maneuver in a larger game beyond just sustenance. The strategist was always at his side. Queen Camilla, whose extensive experience in Britain's most formidable institution had sharpened her acumen, took pride in her son and his status. She gradually developed his influence portfolio. She conversed softly with King Charles at Clarence House under illumination that predates most monarchies. Tom has consistently exhibited a profound passion for the land dear. She articulated her son's aspiration to possess a modest estate in Cornwall. He would possess a purpose, a means to contribute to something significant. Charles, acclimating to royalty and reassured by her familiarity, acquiesced without doubt. The objective seemed noble and innocuous. Shortly thereafter, clandestine agreements were established, and Tom assumed control of a significant royal estate in Cornwall, the domain of the Prince of Wales. An individual without noble lineage was bestowed with extraordinary authority. On October 19th, headlines emerged stating, "Camilla's son publicly criticizes Prince William." William grasped the newspaper with quivering hands at Kensington Palace. He remained silent. He did not cast the paper in fury. His reply was more frightening. His workplace descended into a profound silence that seemed to suffocate the atmosphere. Initially, he read the article, followed by further reading. Who does he believe himself to be? He spoke to a senior aide in a hushed tone, devoid of passion. Subsequently, a terse and unequivocal directive was issued. Obtain all available information on him, and the conduct of his mother. All things. The royal corridors now speculated about Tom's enhanced network rather than his outburst. Who instilled in him the audacity to attack the heir who would now authorize the dismantling of the network, the Pact of Bloodline. December 2024. Sandringham, Norfolk. The expansive royal estate was enveloped in a dense winter fog that obscured reality and foreboding. The centuries-old stone facade of the ancient residence remained resolute against the North Sea wind like a watchtower. A conference was occurring inside out of view. The junior staff did not observe it on any timetable. No titles, no formalities. Princess Anne and Prince William are bonded by need rather than protocol. Anne arrived first composedly. Dark green wool coat made of pine needles, silver hair secured in a military fashion. She entered the antiquated study where a fire hissed and crackled in the vast fireplace, reverberating softly in the expansive corridors. She examined the room with the measured composure of a seasoned protector. Not at ease, she positioned herself on a wingback chair, like at a command post, gripping the aged leather armrests with her fingers. William came shortly thereafter. Absence of guards or attendants. The future monarch donned a simple gray suit, but his appearance exuded the essence of royalty. His expression was almost inscrutable, but an underlying restlessness was evident. He acknowledged his aunt with a courteous nod. It was neither formal nor casual, indicated my willingness to listen. Anne began the conversation directly without any pleasantries. Her experienced, calm voice disrupted the hush. "Camilla is engaging in a perilous endeavor," she said. She conflated the king's affection with authorization to act. This does not constitute maternal pride, concerning the establishment of a covert dynasty. William remained still with his hands clasped behind his back, attentively listening. Anne was candid with the issue. Camilla had orchestrated clandestine networks, covert agreements, and exclusive access to royal estates. She said that this approach centered on non-royal Tom Parker Bowles, who was intricately involved in the monarchy's operational and financial frameworks. "She is instilling him through influence rather than heritage," Anne said, gazing at her nephew. "Your father, overwhelmed by affection and exhaustion, is permitting it. He witnesses a compassionate lady assisting her child. I see a power broker appointing an agent." William tightened his jaw. The public affront from Tom was painful, although this was lethal. His grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, dedicated 70 years to safeguarding her legacy. The principle of blood right was transgressed. His muted fury swiftly transformed into resolute resolve as he regarded Anne. "What actions shall we undertake?" His voice was subdued and deliberate. Anne responded promptly. "You are the Prince of Wales. The Duchy of Cornwall is not a recreational area for her son. You have been granted authorization. Utilize it, resolutely, silently. The institution is accountable to you, not Camilla or her offspring." "Remind them," she urged, leaning forward. "Your grandmother understood that the monarchy's survival relies on its mystery and purity. Both species are at risk of extinction. You must conduct yourself as a future monarch, not as a stepson." William hesitated, his aunt's words permeating his own being. The path was unobstructed. He nodded silently to finalize the agreement. Anne gazed at the icy window as he exited the study and re-entered Sandringham's hazy atmosphere, her breath clouding the glass. The tranquil power struggle ended. The fight began. The Kensington Silent Purge. By December 12, 2024. A new tempest was developing inside the confines of Kensington Palace. Amidst its ornate ceilings and vigilant ancestral pictures, Prince William sat alone at his substantial wood desk, sleeves rolled up, gazing at a pile of confidential documents. As he read page after page, the dim, golden lamplight cast pronounced shadows on his jawline, with the only sound being the rustling of paper in the profound stillness. What started as a discreet partnership at Sandringham became a systematic endeavor. William responded promptly after his encounter with Princess Anne. Although unspoken, his commands had the full authority of his position. The Prince of Wales's authority over the Duchy of Cornwall, a $1 billion financial enterprise, conferred upon him substantial influence beyond mere symbolism. Control levers were supplied. He has now extracted them. William summoned a chosen assembly of advisors to a royal hall adorned with velvet curtains that evening. There were no junior people leaks or blunders. Senior financial officials from the duchy attorneys fixated on the crown and property managers bound by confidentiality convened around the table. William appeared in a simple black suit, commanding attention. "We are undertaking a comprehensive evaluation of all duchy assets, contracts, and personnel," he said softly. "We seek total transparency and the termination of any agreements that do not serve the Crown's interests. All assets, consultancies, and honorary positions conferred in the preceding 5 years must undergo an audit. Identify individuals associated with illicit influence networks. This is not a proposal. The directive was a purge disguised as routine administration." In the next weeks, the covert operations of the royal family underwent transformation. Following meals with Camilla or conversations with Tom Parker, Bowles' names vanished from the inner circle. No prominent dismissals or scandals, reassignments to distant nominal positions, consultancies that were suddenly restructured and never came to fruition, and early retirement offers with disproportionately substantial severance packages made it a paragon of discreet elimination. A discreet assassin executed the purification. Concurrently, Williams' auditors conducted an extensive investigation, an official transparency assessment. The process was akin to a surgical excavation to uncover Camilla's sponsorship. The detrimental results were delivered in a sealed paper days before Christmas. The findings revealed covert exploitation and nepotism rather than regal efficiency. The advertisement was personalized due to Camilla's sister, Annabelle Elliott. The audit revealed that Mrs. Elliott had lived rent-free for over 10 years at an opulent multi-million-pound home in Gloucestershire, owned by the Duchy to fundraise for the Prince of Wales's charity. The audit revealed that her 18-year tenure as Chief of Interior Design for the Duchy was accompanied by substantial remuneration but required minimum exertion. Although she had royal retainer rights, several design works attributed to her were either outsourced or conceptual in nature. William's composed tranquility dissipated as he perused the final report under the warm glow of his study's lamp. Gripping the document's edge in his hands rendered his knuckles pale. He had authority, but his fury astonished his closest confidants. "We conclude this now," he snarled. Those 4 words initiated the monarchy's unavoidable decline into overt conflict. The first assault was imminent. Preliminary assault. Prince William convened with his legal counsel at Kensington Palace post-midnight. There were neither delays nor pleasantries. A stark, unequivocal, and severe directive. The contract of Annabelle Elliott should be terminated forthwith based on the audit findings. She is required to depart Gloucestershire within 48 hours. No mediation or extensions permitted. The judgment is conclusive. The resurgence of monarchy was apparent in the prince's frigid, resolute declarations. Annabelle Elliott occupied the drawing room of her estate, her residence for more than 20 years, situated 100 miles distant at that moment. Amidst velvet curtains and oil paintings, a fire crackled softly. Initially, her phone vibrated, followed by an urgent email, formal announcement. She winced as she perused the terse, unyieldingly formal language. Her contract is ended. Her residence had vanished. With trembling hands, she contacted her sister. "They are expelling me, Camilla," she gasped in disbelief. "William, from his office. I was allotted 48 hours. He will not let me converse with anybody." Queen Camilla shut her eyes at her residence in Clarence House. The anguish stemming from her sister's distress was palpable. However, her silence resonated more profoundly. She discerned this swiftly. William executed a precise maneuver under the guise of a financial audit, effectively incapacitating any defense for Annabelle. All the prominent allies she once relied upon had vanished either through William's covert elimination or Princess Anne's sway. This situation transcended the mere loss of title or residence by a single woman. It served as an unequivocal admonition to the Queen. The discreet legal notification conveyed underhanded politics, unspoken entitlements, and familial advantages. These cease now. As Anne observed the board and William executed maneuvers, the purge was unveiled. A proclamation. Camilla remained unperturbed as she stood in the shadows with the phone pressed to her ear. She assessed the situation. Despite the impact of the blow, she believed the war had only started. A divided sovereignty queen. Camilla's strained visage was aglow under the gentle golden illumination of crystal chandeliers. In her chamber, she held Annabelle's termination notice, dismissed, stripped of title, displaced. The brutality was exacting and profoundly unsettled her. Camilla consistently demonstrated proficiency in intricate palace politics. Her authority stemmed from subtlety, influence, and the ability to manipulate power without fracturing it. However, she was now rapidly losing her influence. She recognized that opposing Prince William or, heaven forbid, Princess Anne would result in political annihilation, jeopardizing her long-standing public persona. This conflict necessitates greater finesse. Camilla traversed the cold morning fog of Clarence's house to reach the king's study. The door emitted a soft creak upon her entrance. King Charles III languidly occupied his preferred chair, seeming pale and worn from cancer treatment and the burdens of the crown. Charles, she implored, quivering, but seeming sincere. What is William's motive? Annabel has remained loyal and harbored no ill intentions. Why not engage in dialogue with him, I beseech you? King remained fixated on the flames of the fireplace. Camilla, he said wearily, I cannot. William now possesses this title, Prince of Wales. I cannot endure additional complications. A tender but devastating rejection. Camilla saw that her most formidable safeguard, the king's unwavering support, had limits. He could not supersede his son. Camilla halted, nodding to conceal her sorrow and withdrawing. Her fury simmered internally. Should the king remain inactive, she would circumvent him. Within hours, she dispatched a deluge of private correspondence to prominent Privy Council members. She meticulously articulated that Prince William's rash, vindictive actions were endangering the realm. She contended that this eradication of loyal familial ties could undermine the institution. Camilla was unaware that her appeal was untimely. Princess Anne had acted with discretion and efficiency weeks prior. She had engaged with the same Privy Council members discreetly throughout Westminster. She presented empirical evidence devoid of sentiment, demonstrating her quiet gravitas and steadfast dedication. The financial miscalculations, the Shell's contract, and the audit's confidential documents reveal Annabel Elliott's exploitation of royal resources and Tom Parker Bowles's increasing influence. Anne exhibited no belligerence, which was commendable. This is not a matter of familial politics, she said. It safeguards the integrity of the crown. Permitting non-royals to exploit royal authority for personal gain would be a disservice to the late queen. No one contested. Anne opposed Camilla and eliminated her before the commencement of the game. The Windsor Reckoning. By early February 2025, the resplendent walls of Windsor Castle, polished for a grand supper, concealed more than mere history. A new regime was instituted among the orchestra's elevated melodies and jewels. The media frenzy surrounding Tom Parker Bowles intensified. His fury obliterated his domain. The press, eager for a narrative, uncovered questionable financial connections, many linked to royal properties he had access to. Prominent restaurant investors severed ties, lucrative media partnerships collapsed, and prestigious projects disintegrated like expired confections. Previously linked to Michelin stars, his name now conjured disgrace. Camilla withdrew from the public sphere after her son's professional downfall. The palace attributed her 3 absences to a sudden throat infection. However, the tabloids and the public were aware of the underlying truth. The banquet on February 17th was a strategic display masquerading as elegance. Prince William dominated the gathering with the poise of an experienced diplomat. Camilla entered clad in green, her smile both poised and delicate. Each glance at William served as a reminder of her losses. The last dagger was the coldest. Princess Anne emerged from the periphery of the ballroom. She approached Camilla with elegance, although her gaze was frigid. "Did you genuinely believe," Anne inquired, "that you could manipulate the crown to your desires?" Camilla spoke quietly over the music. "I have always desired the best for the family." Anne responded icily, stating, "You are not family. Your spouse is the king, and ambition cannot supplant loyalty." The atmosphere became oppressive. Camilla's champagne glass trembled, spilling onto the marble floor. She wanted to retaliate, but found herself speechless. The unvoiced admonition struck with the severity of a public execution. Anne departed without a backward glance, leaving Camilla among the crowd, no longer a queen, but a vulnerable woman. In the following weeks, the monarchy underwent modifications. Annabel Elliott surreptitiously departed from the Gloucestershire estate, leaving behind only indistinct images of her luggage in an unidentifiable car online. Tom Parker Bowles vanished, with his letters and invitations ceasing. The old guard was replaced by a new one. Prince William and Princess Anne, discreet custodians of the lineage, remained resolute. They ensured stability by identifying and discreetly eliminating a threat. The monarchy revealed its latent power under their stewardship. In the silent corridors of authority, the question of whether this was an act of preservation or punishment may determine the fate of the House of Windsor. Consequences. New monarchical regime. The castle's most formidable silence may have descended upon the Windsor terrace. It represented the emergence of a new authority, challenging an established regime based on merit, not lineage. Ultimately, Princess Charlotte dispelled the enchantment. She looked up at her grandmother with relief and appreciation, murmuring, "Thank you, Grandmama." Their utterance initiated the whole sequence of events. Catherine rose and distanced herself from her daughter, forming a defensive barrier. William came shortly thereafter, his countenance reflecting resolve and fidelity. Catherine said, "I believe it may be prudent to conclude for the day." King Charles nodded slowly, trying to regain his composure. "It seems we all need time to process." Camilla saw Carol, the steadfast guardian, Catherine and William, a composed, resilient shield around their daughter, and her husband, whose visage reflected sorrow. The Queen Consort was rendered speechless for the first time in years. The journey back to Adelaide Cottage started serenely. Charlotte's soft voice emerged from the car's safety. "Grandma, was I misbehaved today?" Carol halted the vehicle and directed her focus towards her granddaughter. "Charlotte, heed my words carefully." She spoke with a composed but earnest tone. "You are remarkable. You possess energy, intelligence, and curiosity. No one should diminish your worth regarding these attributes. They are your strengths." Catherine grasped her daughter's hand and said, "Grandmama is correct." "However, Granny Camilla stated," Charlotte started. William said, "Granny Camilla was mistaken," vociferously. "Her actions today were erroneous. We pledge not to replicate them." In the following days, the royal family was profoundly affected by the afternoon's occurrences. King Charles contacted Carol Middleton, describing the dialogue as difficult yet essential, while extending an apology and pledging to prioritize Charlotte's mental well-being. An insider from the palace said, Charles found himself in a challenging predicament. He acknowledged that Carol was correct. Recognizing the Middletons' stability and normality, he saw the need of promptly repairing the bridge. It is peculiar that Queen Camilla did not make a call. The Middletons saw Clarence House's silence as a sign of their lack of remorse for their deeds. The Middleton doctrine, as referred to by one assistant, had the most significant influence. William and Catherine explicitly said that their children would not participate in Camilla's intimate gatherings in their absence. Any detrimental or injurious remarks would be addressed promptly and publicly, in contrast to the typical royal practice of disregarding concerns. Carol Middleton is a prominent royal environmentalist. Her valor has enhanced her reputation. Individuals see her as the ethical guide for the younger generation, rather than an intrusive in-law. This principled lady adheres to her convictions regardless of her surroundings. Princess Charlotte is in good health. Family acquaintances assert that the little princess exhibits more confidence at royal events, with her uncertainty progressively diminishing. As a devoted youngster, she is aware that there are grown-ups who will advocate for her. The Waleses and the King and Queen maintain a public facade of harmony. However, privately, circumstances are cold. A fundamental trust has been lost. The family bridge may undergo restoration. However, the fissures will persist. Windsor included more than just combat. A declaration. Carol Middleton, a council flat resident who achieved financial independence, emphasized to the monarchy that a child's well-being and contentment supersede titles and customs. Unadulterated and potent grandmotherly love transformed a realm. Thank you for watching the video. Please let us know your thoughts, and goodbye for now.